Thank you for tuning in into Local SEO today. Don't forget to subscribe and share this episode. Joining me today is the owner of CVO Acceleration and ARM5 Formula Company, Josh Marsden. He helps clients break free from one size fits all digital approaches. Thanks for joining me, Josh.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it, John.
Yeah, I'm excited to learn a little bit about your background, your history, and how you are known as today, what you are. And if you don't mind sharing a little bit, even way back, however far you want to share, and share
Sure.
with the audience members like what got you motivated to do what you do today.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what I do today versus how I started, which was early 2013, motivations probably have changed a little bit. But I first got started in early 2013 because backstory was I was working at a Fortune 500 company until early 2012, and I was fairly successful in that corporate realm. I was making about six figures a year. I was winning awards as a manager at this company. And the company was going through some changes and some, I guess you could say, threats to the business because of government regulations. And I saw less and less and less opportunities throughout 2011 and then 12 especially. And so that led me to making basically a big career move. I had some friends that I had worked with in the past that were working at a software company in the digital space, Infusionsoft, which a lot of people know. And I was basically lured over. I was lured over to the company, and so I said goodbye to the company I was at for 7 years. Went to that company, and when I was at Infusionsoft, it was a unique experience. For one, it really kind of opened up my eyes to entrepreneurship and what people were doing to make money and build businesses and what they were selling. And just hearing the stories on the phone as I was connecting with business owners and hearing what they were selling and what they were doing to make money was just like I was just it was mind blowing. The entire time I just was like, wow, okay. I was getting all these different ideas, left and right. And part of my job was also building relationships, not just with business owners that we were trying to sell Infusionsoft to, but part of my job was also to build relationships with referral partners that were out there representing Infusionsoft and providing Infusionsoft services and selling Infusionsoft applications to companies and things like that. And so I was also hearing about those businesses too. And so towards the end of 2012, I was unfortunately let go of Infusionsoft. I don't think it had to do with performance because I was 108% to quota for the entire year. I wasn't at the top, but I wasn't at the bottom. I think it just had to do with how I was aligning with my second manager at Infusionsoft because I had switched managers at one point. And him and I actually knew each other for quite some time. He used to work at the previous company that I used to work at. And the way he was running the team, there was some things I just didn't agree with. And it came out in my actions, even though I wasn't saying a whole lot. I wasn't like verbally being defiant. My actions were a little defiant. And then, he let me go. And so after that, I was like, okay, well, I obviously need a job. That was my first, thought. And so I immediately went and reached out to my network, had some job opportunities right away within 24 hours. And I did say yes to that first one because it was okay. But I kept going and I kept getting other job opportunities. But while I was doing that, I also used this opportunity, this gap to go online and start getting freelance work as an Infusionsoft expert. Because when I was at the company, I learned Infusionsoft. And I wasn't even a tech guy. I wasn't someone that was supposed to learn Infusionsoft. I was selling it. But I just always have had a knack for tech. I was building computers when I was 18. I did some programming in high school and also in college. I majored in business, in my bachelor's and master's program. But I just had that knack, for technology. And so I was able to skillfully learn Infusionsoft and skillfully use it and then skillfully deliver on those services. So I started to get some work, started to get some clients, started making some money and kind of validating that I could make money on my own and not depend on a company. And then I did start at another company, maybe a few months after that. This was like early 2013. And as I started at this company, I had a few clients I was floating on the side, but I was really, focused on that new job. And that new job, I told them early on that I had a son who was 3 at the time, and I'm a single dad. And I told them that I had to pick up my son from preschool and leave about 5 p.m. 1 to 3 days a week. And after I told them that, they kind of gave me a little bit of a hard time and then escalated even because they really wanted to have me there until like 7 p.m. From 7 a.m. They had a work hard, party hard, basically culture because a lot of those guys really partied on the weekends quite a bit. And so after 3 weeks of stringing the opportunity along and working at the company and going back and forth about my schedule with my son, they finally gave me an ultimatum. And so I went into the weekend after 3 weeks, and that's when I really sat down and I really reflected on the different directions that I could go in. You know, I could stay at this company, I could change my schedule. That wasn't really an issue. His mother was supportive the entire time, but I didn't want to do that. You know, I didn't want to sacrifice time with my son. You know, that was the most important thing to me in my life. And so, you know, emotionally, I knew what my decision was, but logically, I was still, you know, I still hadn't been sold. And so I logically sold it to myself. And I sat down, made a very simple spreadsheet on a piece of paper with 2 columns and 3 rows and the 2 companies and strengths and the weaknesses of the different paths that I could take. And I just dumped my brain thoughts into, you know, those categories. And after doing that, that gave me the, you know, the sense of, you know, confidence that I can do this. And it basically dissipated any fear that I had as well, because I had fallbacks in case things didn't work out in entrepreneurship. But I was all in. And so that was how I started. And then, you know, after that, I kind of evolved, you know, my initial agency, you know, and you know how it is in business, you pivot quite a bit, you change direction until you start seeing that momentum and start figuring things out. And, you know, you add layers to it and things like that. And initially, you know, I started as an Infusionsoft marketing services company, and then we evolved into more of a marketing funnel services company. And then we evolved from there to an actual more full service marketing agency with digital advertising and content marketing as well. And then we started to see a repeatable pattern, especially over the last 2 years, in a strategy, a process, what companies need in order to get the best possible results from digital advertising. And so that's how the On5 formula, which is my methodology, that's how that came to be, was because of the work we were doing with clients and the consistency we were seeing in, you know, different characteristics in their marketing, different tactics, you know, different processes. And that's how I was able to, you know, really pinpoint what a typical e-commerce business needs in order to be able to maximize their growth from digital advertising. So
That's
that's
amazing.
what brought me to today, you know, because sorry to cut you off, John. I'll finish this really quickly, but now, you know, I have a mentorship side of the business where I mentor companies and help them apply the ARM5 formula. So this way they can see similar results in their e-commerce businesses. And then I just finished selling half of my agency. And we're no longer taking agency clients. We're actually moving more towards really focusing on our in-house e-com brands and also possibly even buying some brands or partnering up with brands and becoming their marketing team and scaling these brands into sellable assets with the goal of selling them within 12 to 24 months. So that's what I'm doing now today.
That's amazing. A couple questions there. Regarding your ideal type of client, like, you know, you do e-commerce and your type of agency focuses on buying under, I guess, performing e-commerce brands that you can actually grow and scale and get to a certain threshold to then sell again, right? But prior to acknowledging that, what kind of clients were you working with and what are you looking for today?
Sure. Yeah, you know, for the mentorship side of the business, I think you know, it's kind of new because we started it late, like August of last year, and we're still pinpointing who the best fit really truly is. I mean, because we could provide value to someone that's just getting started to someone that's already making money in e-commerce, but we're, you know, but we want to really get specific in who, you know, the program is truly for. And at this point, we're finding that the program is really, really best for someone that has a brand, it's up and running, they're making money, in their direct-to-consumer brand. You know, they may have Amazon, they may have Walmart even, that might be doing well, but their direct-to-consumer brand is underperforming. But they're already making some money. They're ideally making, 10 to 50,000 per month. And of course, they want to scale. They want to scale up to 100,000 plus per month. That's really the ideal company that we want to work with in the ARM5 Formula Accelerator. And they also want to learn this stuff themselves, or get their team to learn this stuff themselves, And they also are, super coachable, driven. They show up to calls. They're willing to put the work in, because we want to make sure that we work with like the right companies and the right staff, whether it's the owner or whether it's the team, that are going to really meet us halfway, because we give people 3 calls a week. There are group coaching calls on copy, ads, strategy, you name it. We give them access to templates. We give them access to training materials. We give them access to a lot to help them have that impact. So this way they can really scale their business. And we want to see a lot of successes coming out of that. And so part of it is companies like really, meeting us, halfway. Those types of companies are not looking for done for you. They want help, and they want us basically over their shoulders, helping them figure this out and apply the ARM5 formula to their business so they can scale and get better results from their marketing and their advertising. On the brand scaling side, where we're essentially running the marketing for brands, that is done for you. There's a number of things that we're kind of looking for there. For one, similar type of business, they're validated, they're making money, they're not necessarily scaled up just yet, but they're making ideally at least 33,000 per month, because we work on a revenue share model with these types of businesses. And I've done the math that we need to have a company that has at least that in revenue per month to be a good fit for us. And they also don't have a marketing team. They want a marketing team. They want to partner up. They are okay with giving autonomy to a marketing team to help them scale and to really collaborate with us as a partner, not as a boss, but a partner more so. And they also have the same goal. They want to sell their business in 12 to 24 months, on average. So they align with our vision on that side of the business. So that's what we're looking for on the partnership side of the business.
That's amazing. And I'm sure you're fully on digital ads to cultivate some of these leads right now. How is that coming along? And is it more organic in nature, or are you actually aggressively looking right now?
Yeah, on the partnership side, we're not aggressively looking yet. We have our own in-house brands and we have legacy agency clients currently. So our bandwidth is focused on that stuff at the moment. I already have kind of planned out quarter to quarter how many partner brands we want to take on. And right now we're looking for one. That's it. So we don't have we're not trying to get a bunch because we can only handle so much. And so we're not driving leads, we're not driving traffic into that. But on the accelerator side, we have been, getting leads, getting book calls basically daily, at least one every single day for the past month. So we've been getting, companies that want to work with us on that side of the business pretty consistently at this point.
Okay. And then where do you want to go with all this? Because it seems like you have the coaching, you have your brands that you want to keep selling and growing and, liquidating. But, what's your vision like? Because I know you have a younger son as well. And, where do you see yourself in the next couple of years? Like, what's your kind of goals looking like?
Big goals. So for one, I want to retire by the time I'm 45.
And how old are you right now, Josh?
I'm turning 40 later this year.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm turning 40, later this year, but I want to basically, I'm not going to stop working. I know that, but I just want to be in a position where I don't have to work. I work because I want to. And I've got assets and I've got, passive revenue and passive income, I should say, and things like that, and properties and things like that. So I've got a big vision. I want to sell brands and make 100 million in the next 3 years, ecom brands. I want to scale the accelerator, the coaching side of the business I can't remember the exact revenue number, but I have it in a Google Doc where I essentially wrote out the entire vision. But we have plans to really, really scale that thing over the next 3 years and impact a lot of e-commerce businesses and also expand our coaching team. We're kind of following the Tony Robbins model a little bit in his coaching business and how he has lots of coaches underneath him and things like that. We definitely want to adopt some of that in that business. And, I want to own properties in different places around the world. So this way I can bounce between, say, snowboarding and surfing. So, and, I want to have a family, I want to be able to settle down and, have maybe one more kid at some point in my life. So, that's what my vision is over the next 3 years, actually.
That's amazing. I mean, at least you're crystal clear on what you want and you already have a plan in place. It's now let's make it happen, right? So you have a
Right.
team. Seems like
Right.
you're very focused and you got things in order, especially now that you have experience and you had success over last couple of years, realizing what you want, right?
Yeah.
Were there people uh, inspirational to you during this time of growth? Last couple of years or prior to it,
Yeah.
to really get you really focused on how to position yourself, strategically think, and get you more clarity into intent for where you
Yep.
want to be.
Totally. Totally. I've been super blessed, super fortunate to be around some awesome people over my entrepreneur journey. I mean, I can give so many different shout outs right now. I would say that people that have really inspired me have been like mentors, Ryan Dice and Roland Frazier and the digital marketer team, the leadership team. Those were probably my first real mentors that I had. I was fortunate enough to have that connection pretty early on in late 2014 off of a very calculated risk that I took, investing 10 grand that I did not have at the time to really become one of their first 12 certified partners. And then after that, I'd say that mentors have been like Ryan Levesque being in his highest level mastermind and learning from him, learning from others in the group because he had a very just top-notch group with some incredible, successful entrepreneurs where I was like, I don't want to say the dumbest because I wasn't, but I was the dumbest person in the room in a way, meaning that, I just had a lot to learn. That doesn't mean I'm dumb, just means that I'm not as experienced in business and success as a lot of people in the room. And it was just a great room to be in the year that I was in, that group. And then, since then, I've also been privileged to call guys like Patch Baker, who's a very successful former veteran entrepreneur that made 162 million last year, which is very inspirational, as you can imagine. And Ollie Bilson, who is right now, my mentor over the last 2 years now, that I've been in his scale mastermind as well. So anyway, I'm giving a few shout outs, but those are the people, those are probably like the key, mentors, leaders that have really kind of influenced me and opened up my eyes, and have helped me and supported me over the years. But I've had so many other people too that those are just the people I mentioned are really the people that I've invested in for the most part, except for Pat. Patch has been awesome just being a fellow veteran and supporting me and mentoring me, ever since I met him about a year and a half ago or so. But I've been really, really blessed, honestly, to have so many connections to so many great people that are also awesome, successful entrepreneurs as well.
That's amazing. Is there any traits that you can think of that really make you like when you talk to entrepreneurs that have kind of been in your shoes or people that you look up to, is there one or two skill set or traits that you always think of or they always say that you need to be successful?
Yeah, I hear you. Well, I think that, for one, there's a few things, this is kind of fresh in my head because I wrote some copy last night and I sent this out to my audience. But for one, you just have to be 100% all in, all in. And, it's funny because I recently was on the roof and I live in a nice apartment complex. And on the roof, we have a spa and a barbecue and fire pits and things like that. And I was on the roof. I was literally on there just laying down, reading a book. And then a neighbor came up to me that I've seen several times, but I have never had a conversation with. And all of a sudden, we talked for like an hour. And I find out that he is like this really, really successful entrepreneur, and he has like 106 million to his name, and he just invested 100 million into something, and he's hoping to turn it into like 1.2 billion. And I'm just like blown away the entire time, just listening, asking questions, being a sponge, and just using my ears, not my mouth. And he said, you have to be all in. Like, no matter what you do, what you choose to do, you have to be all in. And and so I think that that's a key trait to be successful, is you have to be 100% like all in. Besides that, you just have to, master the challenge of the mind. I've really learned this over the last few years. I didn't really realize it up until maybe 2 years ago now, but you really have to master how you lead and manage your brain, because otherwise your brain will lead and manage you. Meaning that, the brain goes into that fear or flight mode all the time by itself. And entrepreneurship is full of fear. There's, even after you hit success, there's still fear. There's so much stress that can come out of that if you can't manage your brain properly. And, I've been a big practitioner now of meditation and reading and journaling and things like that over the last 2 years. And I feel like that's been like something that's really pushed me over the last 2 years and helped me really stay sane and, uh, also just be happy, as I experience all the stresses that we experience as business owners. So that's one thing. And then another thing is just discipline. You know, there's, there's times where I work where maybe would rather do other things, but I have discipline, and, I exude it and I exhibit it, whenever I need to be able to get what needs to be done. Whether it's the weekend, whether it's the evening, you name it. And there's sacrifices you have to make with that, but that's what it takes. You have to be all in. And if you want to be successful, if you want to create, the vision that you have for yourself, there's no other choice. You just have to do it, because actions speak loudest.
That's awesome. I love it. And it sounds like you're so focused and it's intentful, right? And when you are able to like have that mind clarity, right? Understanding like even reflection, being able to meditate and have perspective at all aspects of your life, being able to have that will to, rest, but then listen to people, because absorbing connections is huge, right? Understanding
Yeah.
that there's so many smarter people that can give you wisdom. It's you
Yeah.
seeking it out and being okay to be vulnerable. Let people in on your situation as well and absorb, because the more connections you have, that's the only way you can build a better life for yourself, right? To
Yeah.
aspire for more, to look at what you don't have and maybe want to have a little bit more of, right?
Yeah.
But eventually, it sounds like, if you are, what does success mean to you? Because it seems like, yeah, having all these homes in different countries, earning all this, having passive income, is that going to be successful for you, or what is it that triggers that?
Yeah, it's such a great question, John. I really, really love that question because, at the end of the day, what's most important in life isn't all those things. It's love and connection, in my opinion. And, those things are things, you don't need those things. You can live a great life without all those things. So, I mean, happiness to me isn't having those things. It's, to me, it's, taking care of my son, raising him and, making sure that he's prepared for life and making sure that, he attacks life when he has the opportunity to go after his own goals. Also, it's in, maintaining great relationships with people in my life that I care about, that I love, friends, family. It's also about, maybe creating your own family, being able to, be the leader of your clan, your tribe, being the lion, so to speak. Those things is to me what I envision as real happiness. And then also making impacts on others. Like I have some nonprofits that I really want to put some time, some energy into, and some money into. Once some of this stuff starts to really like blossom. So, it's because that's really what it's about. It's about, leaving an impact on the people around you and your relationships. That's what life and happiness truly is all about, in my opinion.
Yeah, it sounds like you're on the right footing, because that foundation piece, once you have clarity on what's going to make you happy, it's not the stuff, but it's more about like, yes, relationships, your family, experiences, people that you want to impact, that you look up to, you respect, and you want to
Yep.
help out. The more you give, and I've been very fortunate myself, like inspired by just being here in the Western culture, right? Like having the ability to now embrace third world countries and understand how other people live, like
Yep.
having access and having information, knowledge, insight, and then understanding perspective wise how other people are living. And if you can just make a small difference in their lives, it's going to
Yep.
make huge impact in what they can potentially do, especially if it's knowledge and insight. Like education has always been at the top of my, realm of success, right? Like learning, absorbing information from books or conferences or people or mentors, coaches, communities, you name it, just getting out there and reaching out, asking for advice. Because if you're waiting for things to happen, good luck. You're never gonna get anything, right? But if you're
Nope.
seeking it out and people can feel that you have energy and you have excitement and you want to learn because you're a sponge, right? And you're just passionate, they will want to help you achieve it. It's just that's how the life work. We all operate, right?
Totally. Yeah. I love that. Absolutely.
So that's all amazing. So final thoughts, Josh. How can some
Sure.
of the people get a hold of you, reach out to you? What would you like to leave with at the end?
Sure. I would, feel free to get in touch with me directly. You could shoot me an email at josh at arm5formula.com. That's what we're transforming to right now. And we're going to be having a brand launch very soon with that new brand and, kind of leaving the old CVO Acceleration Agency brand behind. Or you can just, give the office a call, 480-569-3131, here in the United States. So area code 1. Or if you just want to, follow me on Instagram, I'm somewhat active on Instagram. It's a Joshua A. Marsden. So, I'll give you the link. You could put it, in the comments, whatever the case may be. But yeah, I mean, I love to help, connect. I love to inspire, and, I love to, give valuable content on Instagram and also on other channels that I manage as well.
Amazing. Well, really appreciate your time, Josh. I know I respect people that give me opportunity to share. Like you gave some great nuggets there. So thanks a lot. And I'm gonna have all your details in the show notes. So don't worry, listeners. And again, thanks a lot for being on our show today, Josh.
Awesome. Hey, John. Hey, thanks, man. I love the questions. You're a great guy. Feel the energy, every time we connect. And, it's great to connect with you. And, thank you so much for having me on the show. I appreciate it, man.
No problem. Thanks a lot, Josh.